रोशनी का कारवां।
This podcast is brought to you by Barrier Break Solutions Private Limited and Score Foundation.
ये है रोशनी, रोशनी, रोशनी का कारवां, रोशनी। Eyeway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां।
Hi, my name is George Abraham, and welcome to this edition of Eyeway Conversations. My guest today is Nagraj More, Chief Manager, Training and Development, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. Welcome, Nagraj.
Thank you, George.
So, Nagraj, you are Chief Manager, Training and Development at BPCL.
Yes.
So, what exactly is your job role?
Presently, I'm posted as Chief Manager, Training and Development in Mumbai Refinery. So my job role is like identifying training programs, checking the benefits and the value additions for the refinery as such. The job role here becomes much more challenging because when I was in corporate L&D, there we focus more on the behavioral leadership and such programs. Whereas in refineries, you need to also handle a lot of functional training programs. My job role also involves designing training programs related to the various functions, certain behavioral aspects, interacting with the trainers or the facilitators to check the content validity. And then it also involves a lot of administrative aspects such as, receiving the nominations, forwarding those nominations, ensuring people join the programs. And then, last but not the least, another thing is meeting the business targets. And this year, our business targets was X, and already, we have exceeded the target in comparison to the other refineries in BPCL.
Nagraj, I also believe you are a qualified coach. I've often wondered what a coach does.
The coach actually enables an individual or a group of people to explore their potential, to discover their potential. In the decade of 50s, 60s and 70s, it was more like, mentors, where mentor used to say like, look, this is what I have done, where they used to directly share their experiences with the subordinates or with their buddies. Whereas here, we are not prescriptive. We don't say, you have to do this, you have to do that. We ask certain leading questions where the group of people or an individual tries to explore as to what he or she needs to do or resolve an issue. This is what the coach does. The coach doesn't give answers. The coach helps individuals to discover their own answers through probing questions.
How did you qualify as a coach? Because I don't think people are born as coaches.
So they did ask me, how are you going to manage? How are you going to look? We do draw things on the whiteboard. How are you going to manage that? Somebody needs to write for you on the whiteboard. But yes, as I said, we need to work around the challenges. We cannot sit and say, I need this, I need that. The first thing which any individual should stop is demanding. Do not demand.
Right.
Create your own devices, your own techniques to work around the challenges. As General MacArthur said, in life, there is no security. In life, there are only opportunities.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So I started keeping my OHPs in order. Like if I have to take 5 sessions, I used to ensure that the OHPs are in order. Then I used to take somebody's help or the other. And at that time, what I did was like, look, I used to read the slides bullet by bullet on the with the help of JAWS, then record it on the in Braille. But one incident came where a Monday I had to do a session and I didn't have the slides at all, and it was Friday afternoon when I was told. So then my wife Vishaka, she sat at home, recorded all the slides on the. Then we had a small dictaphone.
Yes.
Then I came back home. I was listening to each and every bullet points on the dictaphone. Then I made notes in Braille, and I delivered the sessions wonderfully fine. Because you need to slog it out. This is a message for a lot of youngsters today. They are fortunate enough, George. You and I didn't have the technology what they have today.
Yes.
At that time, we had to literally depend on people to read things. And today, you need not have an expensive software like JAWS or a Window Eyes to read things. You can just have free NVDA software. The one important aspect, a vital thing a coach must acquire is, George, read, read, read.
You need to have the knowledge.
You need to have the knowledge. You need to have a global knowledge. And another technique I devised was, I had a lot of fellow coaches. So I used to meet them once a while and they used to read a book. They used to summarize and tell me. There are a few books which are about 1,000 pages or 2,000 pages. Many of my fellow coach colleagues, they used to make notes, type out those summary of each chapter, not more than a page, and they used to send it to me. So there was not need of me reading the whole book. Reading the summary itself was enough. And another important aspect for a coach is to know, I don't know how many people would appreciate this, but knowing Braille is, to an extent, it'll be a great gift because you're sitting at the back of the table. You can make quick notes and then it'll help you. It'll help you to deliver your sessions much better.
If you know of anyone with vision impairment who needs guidance on living life with blindness, please share the Eyeway National Toll-Free Helpline number 1-800-5320-469. The number is 1-800-5320-469.
Are there bodies that actually formally certify you, and what is the process you go through for the certification?
The process is they will see you as a life coach, and then you need to send them recordings.
Yeah.
You also have online oral sessions where they ask you several questions, and it's not that they call you and tell you, look, nickname among my friends and among my coaches is Nagi. They don't tell me like, Nagi, these are the questions we're going to ask, so you better prep up. It's not that. It's all spontaneous, instantaneous, and what they assess is, what are your basic instincts as a coach? Are you able to handle that spontaneity? Because when you're going to handle a group, when you're taking session for about 30, 40 people,
yeah,
you don't know what questions they're going to come out with. You also ask me for the bodies. There's one body called International Association of Coaches. Mr. Krishna Kumar was the president of International Association of Coaches. It's based in the US.
Yeah.
But he was the first person who took an initiative, who took the lead to certify 20 visually challenged guys as a coach in Hong Kong.
How many Indians here?
Indians, I don't know. I don't think there are any known persons as a coach other than me. I have my doubts because, as I told you, George, coaching is something where it's rigorous.
Right.
The sessions are for minimum 8 months.
You've been working with BPCL for several years now, and we all grew up at a time when corporate or public sector employment was not very common when it came to people with disability. Tell me a little bit about how did you decide to get into what you are doing now, and what was the journey that took you to BPCL and the employment?
I had done my summer internship with BPCL.
Yeah.
And then the management had seen my mobility, my independence and other things. Actually, when I completed my internship, there are a few rare students from TIS who also get the verbal offer in the third semester itself.
Right.
So I was one among those lucky guys who was made a verbal offer in the third semester. Would you like to join us if we offer a job to you?
Right.
So I told them, I'm happy, but let me think about it. Our recruitment normally happens in the fourth semester during the month of Jan. And that's the time where Cadbury's had come to our campus.
Yes.
And I remember my interview with the Cadbury's man went for 1 hour, 10 minutes.
Right.
So I still remember Mr. Arun Joshi was the director of Cadbury's at the time.
Right.
And he looked at the kind of internship project report I had done in BPCL.
Right.
And it was 22nd and 23rd February 92, where BPCL also invited me for the interview.
Right.
I said, let me go and take a chance there also.
Sure.
And then when I came back in the evening, I got a call from Cadbury saying that through our, one of the professors, saying that I think even Cadbury's would like to offer you the job.
Right.
Then in the end, I took a call to join BPCL. George, I'll tell you, there's Harvard Business School had come out article in 2014. Many of us do play a lot of games when we are kids, right? Like a police or like a teacher, like a leader or whatever.
Right.
So some of these games actually enables an individual to identify their purpose in life.
Right.
All of us were born ordinary, be it Mahatma Gandhi, be it Mother Teresa, be it anybody, be it Nelson Mandela. They were all born ordinary. What made them extraordinary is, George, they all discovered their purpose when they were kids.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these elders do ask you, what is that you would like to do? What is that you would like to become when you grow?
Yeah.
So always I used to tell them, I would like to get into the army. I still remember my grandma, my dad, my mom, they were slightly tilted towards spirituality. So they used to take me to a lot of these sages. So one sage asked me, what is that you would like to do, son, when you grow? I said, I want to get into the army.
Right.
He said, don't take it, otherwise you're totally blind. So how will you get into the army? You can't.
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, give me a blessing that I need to serve this nation in some form or the other.
Right.
So that's the time I decided, look, I can't get into the army, but can I serve this nation by joining at least a public sector? And the way I decided HR was, when I was in school, we used to be introduced to a lot of people, lawyers, lecturers, the best music guys, the best this, best that. That's the time I thought, nobody is in the management. Why not to do something, getting into the management and doing? And my school was run by the Germans and the Americans. It was known as the Christopher Blunden Mission. The school was Divine Light School for the Blind in Bangalore.
Yeah.
They had one good thing, George. The moment we reach fourth grade, they used to help us to discover our dreams and help us to visualize, and then making those, enabling us to making those dreams into reality. And somebody asked me, why management? Why not? It's easy to become a lawyer or a lecturer because many visually challenged guys have become excelled in this field. So it'll be easy for you to make a dent. I told other friends of mine, look, I'd like to open the new door of opportunities. Look, how many blind lawyers, how many blind lecturers you're going to have?
Yeah.
And that's the time I decided, look, HR is one thing where I can make a dent. And I joined TISS. I cannot take names here. There are a few of my friends, classmates, batchmates, wherever it was possible, they've actually recruited some visually challenged guys in their respective organizations.
Right.
So my purpose was to create a new opportunity, to open the doors where we need not only be musicians, lawyers or lecturers. We can also be effective managers. We can also be effective coaches. We can do whatever we want, provided we have a clear purpose in life.
Excellent. So, it's one thing to get a job. Now, we always, when people get into a job, one of the things that challenges a blind professional is the ecosystem. How did BPCL kind of ensure that you had the ecosystem for you to perform to your potential and make a contribution to the company?
They were very nice. I'll tell you why. The moment I joined, when I was going to any location for training, they used to call up and say, look, we are sending you so-and-so who is totally blind, but he's excellent in other activities, in other areas of life.
Right.
So they used to be very well told. I'll give you a simple latest example.
Right.
Do I have the permission to take names here, George? Some important names?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please.
So we have a GMHR in charge of Mumbai refinery. Now, he got to know, both of us are coaches, of course, but he got to know that I will be reporting to Mumbai refinery as chief manager training.
Yeah.
Now, you know what he did? He went to the learning center, checked the cabin, which was allotted to me,
Yeah.
and he said, he blindfolded himself. And
Yeah.
he said, यार ऐसा मत रखो इसको, ये टेबल को इस लोकेशन में रखो, इस डायरेक्शन में रखो, so that it's easy for him to enter the cabin and move out of the cabin.
Yeah. So he kind of went to the detail of even positioning of your table and chair.
Absolutely. There are, again, there are challenges, but there are people also who do things to make you comfortable out of the way. They go out of the way. This was not required for him to do at all, but he did it. So people are there to give us opportunities, and we need to make use of the opportunities with a lot of responsibility and fulfill all those obligations which the organizations do demand from us.
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest barriers that people with disability face in an employment situation is the attitude of people around. And I think you've been lucky, or you've been blessed that people around you have had a kind of decent attitude.
Yes, definitely. I do agree. I am that way. Yes, I'm blessed to have wonderful friends since my childhood. And again, George, we are blessed, of course, but even these blessings do come with our own actions.
Right.
I would like to give this message to a lot of teenagers. When I was in the school,
yeah,
I used to tell my friends, like, when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, if I remember, our school was close to this HAL airport. At that time, there was one airport in Bangalore that was Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
At Domlur.
At Domlur, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these aircrafts used to fly from above our school.
Yeah.
So one night, I think some of these international flights, late night flights were flying. So I told one of my friends in Canada, look, I would like to grow so big where I wish to have breakfast in one city, lunch in another city.
Right.
So he said, look, don't take it otherwise, man. All of us are totally blind. What are we guys going to do here? Maximum will be lecturers and lawyers. Yes, sir. Where will these things happen?
Yeah.
So, we need to, then gradually I started interacting only with such people where one is they have some vision, some purpose in life. And always our debates used to be around general knowledge, around various articles. And my friends, I think after 8th standard in Divine Light School, 9th and 10th, I completed through integrated education through Stacey's Memorial High School.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of my friends who used to walk down with me towards the school, from Shivajinagar bus stand till this school was in MG Road.
Yeah.
So me and my friends used to walk down. I had some of my friends, my neighbors who were basically in St. Joseph schools. And we used to, so when they used to walk down every day, they themselves volunteered. They said, look, Nagi, we will do one thing. Every evening, we will read some Reader's Digest article, some Business World, India Today. As we are walking, we will discuss and we will debate around the articles.
Right.
Wonderful thought, no?
Indeed.
And we need to see whatever we create our life to be, it depends upon the kind of friend circles we create around us.
To support our work with the blind and visually impaired, you can visit the donate page on our website www.scorefoundation.org.in. Please note www.scorefoundation.org.in.
Your wife comes from the north of India while you come from Karnataka. How did you guys meet? How did it happen?
If I recollect, George, you had also come for that DPI conference in 1997, Disabled People's International Conference, which had happened in Delhi.
Yes, I was there.
In Park Hotel. That was our first meeting, if you recollect. Even my first meeting with you.
Yeah.
Then somebody told my wife now, Vishakha, that look, this guy is in HR in BPCL. And then she had also completed her postgraduate diploma from Ford School. And it was becoming difficult for her to get a job. And she had done her MBA in finance.
Yeah.
So then somebody told her to meet me so that, you would be able to get some tips from him.
Yeah.
And then she had come with her mother.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was more like a formal discussion. Neither, at least both of us never even had imagined that we would end up in being life partners.
Yeah.
And then we also went to a mountaineering expedition in the year 1998.
Yeah.
There also we were very formal. I was very clear because my dream was to make it to the US. So my worry was, what if I get married, I'll get entangled.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to get into that. But then it's her mother who sent the proposal to me.
Right.
And then I said, I need to think about it because I cannot take the decision. There are certain decisions which at least I have left my parents to take a call. This
Right.
was one among them because
Right.
my dad had some other plans for me, but I did something totally different. So I had decided marriage is one thing which I will leave it to my parents. And then my parents did visit Delhi somewhere in the month of July or August. Yeah. And then my mom said, son, I think the lady is okay. So I will give my green signal for you to get married.
Nagraj, I was listening to one of your videos where you start by talking about karma, and karma is something that a lot of people say their current state in life is because of some karma or the other. And often people talk about blindness, people being blind in today's scenario simply because of some karma that happened in some previous avatar or previous incarnation. So what are your views on karma, and has karma played a role in your life?
To make it short, karma is nothing but a principle of action, doctrine of action rather. The karma is the result that you've got or you would get depending upon your past or present actions. I'll give you a simple example of my own life. My mom told this to me later on. Whenever we used to join our school, Divine Light School for the Blind, they used to do some kind of a genetic analysis. So they did ask my parents, were you guys related? Was there any person who was blind in one generation ago, 2 generations ago? Do you recollect anything? So, but in my case, they just could not come out of any conclusions as to why I became blind. But then my mom told me once, when I was at the age of 10 or 11, there was a lunar eclipse when she was carrying me. And she never knew it's a lunar eclipse, and she was looking into the water, the reflection of the moon in the water.
Yeah.
So probably this, I'm not saying this may be or this can be an action.
Right.
And as I told in the earlier video, like whenever I used to travel with my mom, with her in the bus when I was a kid, then of course I never knew what this karma is all about. They used to tell her in Kannada, God knows what karma you have done to give birth to a child like this. And God knows what karma he has done to be born blind.
Right.
My mom said, look, I don't know what is his karma. I don't know what is my karma. Now it is my karma to ensure this son of mine leads an independent life and stands up on his own leg rather than being dependent on anybody on this earth.
So what are your long-term vision for your life in the remaining part of your life? What is it that you would like happen, and what is it that you would like to achieve? Are there any goals, any dreams?
I have already started working on this, George. What I do is I actually coach kids on voluntary basis.
Yeah.
Like I help them to convert their dreams into reality.
Yeah.
And I do this with only those kids, somebody who approaches me.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do now as I grow in life further. Help people to convert those dreams of theirs into reality in their lives. The best happiness that any individual can get is when he or she says some things when they're in a kid or when they're in their teens, and as they grow, when that same dream becomes a reality in their life. That's the greatest happiness that any individual can have for himself.
Well, Nagraj, wish you the very best in your plans. I think this idea of coaching kids is a great one. Wish you the very best, and thank you so much for talking to me.
It's my honor and my pleasure, George. Thank you so much.
Eyeway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां.
This podcast was brought to you by Barrier Break Solutions Private Limited and Score Foundation.
ये है रोशनी 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 का कारवां रोशनी Eyeway ये है रोशनी का कारवां